Building an app to make pizzas roll. Ninja Turtle Pizza API. But AWS.C made them cry. They tried and they tried, but couldn't make it stick. Stuck in a loop, it was making them sick. And they thought there must be a trick to get GraphQL up and quick. Michael showed up, a coding superstar. Teacher traced the way to set the bar. Get subscribers set up, let real-time updates fly. To get pizzas ordered with a turtle cry.
That's awesome.
Hello. Have so much fun making that picture. Usually Alan's been taking care of those. I've been making these and getting that creativity boost. He actually wrote the lyric. He said he almost wrote the full lyrics for this song. He's going to become the artist. Welcome, Michael Focus Otter, joining us for the second part in this AppSync journey, building the Cowabunga Pizza API for the Ninja Turtles. How are you doing, Michael?
I'm great, man. It's always a good time hanging out with you, so I'm feeling good.
Yeah, as always, doing stuff completely unprepared to see how we fail, how we succeed, but learning along the way, right?
Hopefully more of the latter than the former. Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh my goodness. Do the folks know? I think they know you. Should I intro?
Yeah, let's do your intro, your formal intro. Who are you? What you do? Why you're famous? All that fun stuff.
I don't know about famous, but I am a lot of fun. So, welcome everybody. My name is Michael Liendo. I'm a senior developer advocate on the AWS AppSync team. Super excited to be here. All my self-taught developers, raise your hands, shout it out, because we're here. We made it.
Cool. Welcome. So I'll recap a little bit of what we did last week. So last week it was Benjamin Pyle and I trying AppSync for the first time. We started it using Salmon.it, basic template provided by AWS. And we then transformed that template or the consumption of that template and built the pizza API and worked with JavaScript resolvers. And we're working towards getting the PubSub functionality. I think we were this close. And I saw Michael in the chat just stressed. It's like, come on, Andres, you can do it. And then decided to invite him today, bring the big guns to help out and play around with AppSync a little bit more, get more of explore more of the features, potentially getting it hooked up to a UI. Yeah, should be fun.
I'm feeling ambitious. I mean, I think we got it.
It's how we usually start a stream. It's like, right. Hey, yeah, we're gonna get all this done. We're gonna hook it up to AI, right. Publish it to 18 different regions with disaster recovery, and we get a post endpoint.
We're like 2 hours. What are we gonna do for the next like hour and a half? I mean, geez, give me a challenge.
We wouldn't be developers if we weren't ambitious and bad at
estimates.
Define estimates. Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
Man. All right. Can you? I'm eager to get this going though. Chat. What up? How are you all? Let me know. It's Friday. How you feeling today? While you're doing that, can you kind of walk me through where we're at right now? Like, what is the current landscape that I'm jumping into here? What did I sign up for?
Yeah, you signed up for disaster, but so we have full deployment working with the GraphQL API, and I can share kind of what we have, right? So here's the template. I know you don't do SAM, but it's still resources. So we got a greeter Lambda function that we're definitely not using. So we got the API with the schema, API key. Oh, we got the music now. We got a couple data sources. We got the DynamoDB, the table, and then we got some functions. So we're pre-processing the post item. So this is getting the information, transforming it. So it's kind of like a pipeline. We are doing a pipeline, right? So it's pre-processed, and then actually doing the put in the database. We have something for the gets. We got an update pizza order endpoint or mutation to update the status, right? This is where we're hooking up the subscription.
Okay.
And then resolvers. So here's the add pizza order, update pizza status with the pipelines and a query to get the pizza order.
I'm gonna try and parrot this back just to make sure that I'm on the right page, and for the folks that are just joining us.
Yeah.
So in short, we're using AppSync, right? AppSync is a GraphQL based API. So HTTP, you're gonna be using API gateway. Here we're using GraphQL. AppSync is the team that I'm on. We have this API in place, and it's a pizza ordering app.
Yeah, so we're doing a pizza ordering app exclusively for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Love it.
So they can get pizza delivered faster to their sewer.
Oh,
and
sure.
they want to be able to track the progress of their pizza order.
I love it. So we're anticipating them ordering,
Yes.
and they're going to be sending some data to this API, right?
Yeah.
Now, I get that they're going to have sort of the payload that is going to this API, but you mentioned a pre-processing step. Can you give me some details on what's happening there?
So this is me being unfamiliar and this coming from the template that we used, but there's this pipeline that it's running through, and it came with this pre-processed post item where it's injecting like the UUID, building the arguments, added the created time and the status.
Cool.
So the pipeline starts with this and then create post item. It takes the previous result, which I'm assuming is what comes from the pipeline from the previous step, and then run the put item operation on the. So I'm assuming this is the actual resolver.
Yep. Okay.
And the other thing is just running JavaScript and some other. So yeah.
Can you show me that processing one? Because I see key in values, and on line 8 you have the payload, and then there's key and values right there. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, just to kind of dive into that bit, because you mentioned there's a pipeline for folks that are unaware. How it works is that, let's imagine you're using API gateway, because I think a lot of folks have context on that, and you have a Lambda function, right? And it's going to do multiple steps. AppSync isn't built that way. I mean, you can hook it up to a Lambda function and do that, but the nice thing about AppSync is that it uses direct integrations as a first-class citizen. So if you are going from web app to like and then you have your data, your business logic that you're trying to send, and you want to put that into a database, you don't need that intermediary.
Did we lose sound? He's frozen. One sec. Technical difficulties. Once did we lose you? Cool. Digging deeper into the AppSync explanations, which I don't have, but from my understanding, it's that what he was just mentioning, right? You're running these pieces of code snippets directly, and to run these direct integrations, which is nice, where you're running the JavaScript version of the direct integrations. So last week when we were running this, we were running this create post item, and I was running a different version. I was running, where is this? This pre-process item. And it didn't really work because I was just using this as kind of the resolver, and it was failing because it really, at the end, it expects something for the direct integration for an operation. What's the operation I'm doing? So in this case, it knows it's using the data source for DynamoDB. I'm doing a put item and then the normal connecting the data so that it can work. One sec. So once you get that, you're actually communicating. So it gets around working with VTL like we do with API Gateway which I wish we had the JavaScript version of this communication. So let me go back. So what we ended up with last week was we got some queries, we got some mutations. So for the query, we're just getting the pizza order. For the mutations, we're adding an order, and then we're going to be updating the pizza status. So imagine having, hey, we're throwing the crusty thing, right? The whole cool thing that they do in the videos, and then we put it in the oven. Now we're putting the ingredients and the sauce and all that. So keeping interesting. Okay, so Michael will make it back when he can. Seems like there's a tornado close by where he's at, so probably took out the electricity. So I'll keep moving on, then he can correct me everywhere where I failed and was wrong. So yeah, mutations, we got the pizza order to add it, to update it. So one thing I wanted to wrap up, it's the getting the subscription working, right? So we are very close. And just to recap, okay, we got the API key. Let me refresh. If we got a good API key, yeah, this is expired. So I saw this morning. So I want to see if SAM build, SAM deploy takes care of this for me and generates a new key or what happens there. SAM build. And let's see. You can renew it. Okay. I can renew it in the console just quickly. I guess if I did this, edit, or just push the expiration date till tomorrow. No, it doesn't let me. Oh, yeah. Save. Sweet. So if we would have done the SAM build, SAM deploy, what would it have done with the API key? Would it generate a new one? I'm just gonna still do it. So I did SAM build, SAM deploy. I am hooked up to this account. I just want to see what happens for my own entertainment or for your entertainment too. Hopefully everything's fine with Michael. So I just moved to El Paso from Dallas, where it's more of a tornado area. And I'm pretty happy that I don't get tornado warnings anymore. But recently I had a dust storm warning, and I was like, I thought I avoided any type of storms. But it was less scary than a tornado warning, for sure. Okay. So this, no changes to deploy. So yeah, it doesn't know what to do. So we'll keep working with the API key that we have and test the subscriptions. So basically where we were, and you can see now I'm sharing my whole screen, so I don't have to keep flipping and forgetting that I flipped the screen. So live and learn, right? Getting better at this day by day or week by week. So where was the testing piece of this? Queries. Here we go. So let's run a query plus, I don't want to do this. I don't want to say hello, say goodbye. Am I on the right API? Let me go to CloudFormation. Cowabunga Pizza, Cowabunga dude. And go into GraphQL. It should be, there's no link from here. Interesting. No. So interesting. Post mutation. It's still, this has the old one. Interesting. This should have this. Cowabunga. Let me look at the stack. Stack name, Cowabunga Pizza. I should have this stack name. So maybe I did do what I do and deleted the stack because I exposed my key last week. So it's been a long week. So let's try, and since the artifacts are already there, I'm just gonna do part 2 here and just redeploy. Sam build, get a new stack out there. I think the artifacts are there and the template, it's the same, and S3 knows that nothing changed, so it just avoids the deployment from moving forward. We can bypass that by creating a new stack. And I'm actually going to verify one thing, if I'm in the right account. Why is it not AWS? No, and more dev. I don't want all this. There we go. Note check. Does seem like I was in the wrong account. There it is, Cowabunga Pizza. So, verify your accounts are correct. So I'm gonna revert this so I don't have 2 stacks, and I'll delete the other one. And let's go renew this, the key for this one. Resource, GraphQL API. So I'll just go to AppSync. Oh, and now I have 2. Which one are you? Delete stack. One second while we get everything in place, and I'll keep track. My phone isn't strong enough. So yes, Tim, he is focus otter. He's having some technical issues because of a storm nearby. So he lost connection, but he'll be back as soon as he can. I am by no means focus otter related. That's full Mike Oliendo. This should be done, and the delete is complete. So now we keep going, and we should only have 1 over here. There's no refresh. Refresh the whole page. Cool. We'll go to settings, look at our API key. It's expired, so we'll do the same thing we did in the wrong stack to push it to later in the week. So we still have reactivated our API key. Cool. So now back to the queries here. And now, okay, we now have these. So I want to do a mutation, just like we were doing last week, and I'll create a pizza. So add pizza with the input, the crust is still. And one of the things I want to do today is kind of formalize the schema a little bit. We cut some corners last week to be able to go faster, but we made like the crust, we could make that an enum. So we could not, I don't know how to define those yet, so we'll figure it out in the stream. And like the ingredients, make that a proper array instead of a comma delimited list of strings. So we like thin crust, and then for ingredients, we'll just do simple pepperoni, if I can spell that. I think that's right. So we'll add a pizza, we'll get an ID, and then I'll set a subscription. And one thing Michael mentioned last week in the chat was, hey, to test the subscriptions, you can use the AppSync in the console, but you need 2 tabs, right? One for where you're subscribing, one where you're going to be pushing the kind of the events that you're subscribing to. So I'm going to open up a new tab where I'm going to subscribe in a sec. Once we run this mutation and we get our pizza order, right? If I go to DynamoDB, we should see this pizza order. Boom, 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 boom. So tables, Cowabunga Pizza. We want to explore items. And we'll query, and our ID is just this. So here's our pizza with thin crust and pepperoni. I misspelled that, definitely. Yeah, Benoit, if we have time, I truly want to try GraphBolt. It seems interesting. I've been using AppSync for a week now. So I've been looking around what other things are all. GraphBolt is definitely something that pops up. So definitely something I would like to play around with. What was I gonna do? Okay, so we verified, we got our item. It has the created time. And then, so Tim, let me get you a link. We're already here to the part 1, so you can catch up on how we got here. Since these are live streams and these are hosted by the Believe in Serverless community, so they're not. Once this one's done, Michael Focus Otter wasn't involved or wasn't streaming in the first one, so that's why it doesn't show in his channel. But the first part, and we'll link it in the notes, will be here, and here it is. It was with Benjamin Pyle, and I can share that for you, so you can catch up on how we got to basically CRUD. It's almost CRUD. We don't have a delete, so it's a crew. Cool. So now I'm going to subscribe on this side, right? So get pizza order. I want a subscription. And I'm going to add this on add pizza order, the order ID. That's the YouTube. I don't want to subscribe to the, well, please subscribe to the YouTube, but I'm not going to subscribe to it via AppSync. So this is my order ID. It doesn't like this. Must have a selection of subfields. Okay, yeah, so ID, ingredient, status, crust. So we'll run this subscription and it's going to be listening. So let's run through this again with the update, right? So I want to add an update mutation for this ID, and we're going to change the status here, and I'll do crust ID ingredients too. So the status, let's say order created. What are we doing in the here in the pre-process? We're doing created. So I'm going to do received, right? That's usually, hey, the order was created. We've received your order, kind of like an acknowledgement that we got it. Received. And let's see if this works. So I'll do a zoom here because I just noticed yeah, this is not going to look nice in a split screen. Whoa, where did this go? Okay. So we're going to run this, and I'll just flip to the other one. So run. This is too close. My mutation. Yeah, so I'm just going to run the update status to received for this order, right? So I'm going to run this mutation. Probably have something wrong in the results, but did we have subscribe to one mutation? We didn't receive anything. Let's see if we do logs, if it does anything. So let's take a peek in the, if this exists, I'll check out. Cool. So let's go back and look at our update. So something's definitely missing, right? So we have the update. Let's look at how we have the kind of the pipeline defined, right? So we're telling it to update pizza order status. So it runs this. It's like the pre-processed thing that we had for the create, and then the actual integration to DynamoDB. So let's look at this. Update order status is running update pizza order status preprocess, which is this, which we are getting all the values. So I'm just going to JSON stringify this and console log, because that's how I troubleshoot stuff, just to make sure the data is flowing. The data is flowing nicely. So I'm just going to stringify this bad boy. And something added an extra parentheses. Open, close, open, close. I'm missing a close bracket. Cool. And return payload. So let me just get this out there and we'll start troubleshooting how the data is flowing. Put item. So I'll also print this, right? Console, and I have my own little, yeah, cool. So Sam build. I can't move too much. My whole desk moves. I'll dance over here. Okay, Sam build is done, and now we'll Sam deploy. This is where the music really helps. So I'm just completely silent, just waiting, vibing. Okay. So once this gets deployed, hopefully we get more information. Why the result didn't come back, how we expected it, and I'm assuming it's something related. Now I broke something. Oh, it's cleanup. It's easy. Let's just look at this in CloudFormation. Not this one, not this one, over here. So, what did it like? The code contains one or more errors. That's just me being terrible at coding. So JSON stringify. I just did console, not log, so console doesn't exist. Sam build. In the pre-process, you wrap them. Oh, there you go. I forget to pop the messages in. Thank the background gremlin, the actual turtle living in the sewer. We got Jonathan in the background. In the pre-processing, you wrap the message in payload. In the next function, you should use context payload. So here, would it be, this is how I visualize things better and get this off. So you got key, so the result dot payload, would that be? Oh, just payload, not even result. Because this context, let's give it a try. I trust you, Benoit. So let's do Sam build again with that change. Okay, let me bring this back. So I'm just going to look at this one. So it's the pre-process item, it's payload and blah, while the actual create is using result, and result has key and value. So I do think it might need previous result dot payload, but we'll take a look. This will definitely go much slower without Michael, the AppSync expert. But we'll push through and we'll learn things along the way because that's what I like to do. That's why I like these 2 hours. I go out of my comfort zone with services I've never used. And even in the chat, we have a few experts, right? Benoit, he built the GraphQL application where you can test your graph APIs and a bunch of stuff. So happy to be surrounded by such smart people to teach me the ways of life and the code. Okay, so this did it still fail? No, okay, we're good. A little bit. So let me refresh. I don't know how the subscription, once a deployment happens, works. I don't know if it keeps hold of the same subscription, but I'll create a new one. Okay, I have to click the plus on add order ID. No. Where's my ID? Here it is. And I'll just do status. So run this, my subscription. And over here, I'm actually going to try and update it again. Received 2. I'm the kind of guy that will do this type of stuff in a production environment, and everybody will get an email blast with test or something like that. This is what I do, and somebody will get a received 2 status. It's like, what does that mean? Run my mutation. Okay, now we got a code error, which put item requires a key to be provided. Okay, so now I think we're getting closer. We got the Lambda function. So let me filter here. Lambda function that's running. Is it a Lambda function? No, it's a resolver. So we'll look at our functions, I guess, of the pizza command. So I'll open this and this so I can get some logs. How do I look at the logs? Actions. Oh well. Because this is, I don't know why it didn't give me a link. Yeah, I guess that's the smart way, Benoit. Usually go to like the function and then, oh, it's Lambda. And then from there, go to like the monitoring. I like to go the long way. But it's not a Lambda function. Okay, that's what I'm learning. We have a single Lambda function, which is the greeter, which we're not using. So CloudWatch. And we'll look for log groups. Ooh, look at all the app runner stuff that we did for the Clip Finder stream a couple weeks ago. So I don't have, thank you. AWS AppSync. There we go. Yeah. And then this is.
I'm back. I'm back.
Woo! You survived.
Oh my God. Did you tell the chat what happened?
Yeah. Yeah. Close by tornado.
Just another day in the Midwest. Oh my goodness. Okay.
So did
yeah,
you get like
the
the big alarms and?
So we get that, and we get like our phones will go off, but I silenced mine by just like you can't not disable it. So I turned my phone off before the stream because they've been going off all day. I think I even
Oh,
tweeted about it earlier. I was like, "Hey, no big deal, tornadoes." And then yeah, my internet was out, but fortunately, it's not my first tornado rodeo. So I have a backup that I'm using.
ooh, nice. Cool. So let me get you up to speed. So I'm
Yeah, we
still,
done yet?
I'm no, I, I need you. I need you, Michael. So still trying to get the subscription. So I've got the, I guess I lost the context of that, but I got a mutation or a subscription running here
Cool.
with my pizza, with the pizza order. Let me close all this. So then I have my update status, getting some errors, put item requires a key. So
Yep,
this is
makes
just
sense.
me being terrible at coding. That's in some sense. So trying to put the things together and what's happening with the pre-processing thing, then the actual put item that's updating the status and getting the actual subscription going.
Okay.
So you with me?
Yep, I see Benoit was helping out with the payload. I was asking about that before I got blown away. Did that get resolved?
I think it's part of the issue. So we got further. We got a different error, or we got an error, which I take that as a step forward. So if I show you the preprocessor, right, we got the input, and then I stringified this. I couldn't get to the logs, and that's what I was working towards.
Okay.
But then we're returning payload and values, and then the response is just content result.
Cool.
And then the update status is this is what we changed to payload, which I'm
Yep.
still thinking this should be result or no,
No, it's payload.
just straight up.
Or wait, context.
And this is based looking at what was already there, right? So the create post item uses this to get values and key.
It should be context that previous that result that payload, right? Like give me the previous result and then that's an object.
Yeah, so it's dot result, and then we can do dot payload, which would have key and values.
Item, can you go back to your last screen?
Here.
Yeah, okay. So context that previous, this is your preprocessor. This doesn't have a payload on it. Hold on, what are we doing? This is me like just catching up.
Yeah.
So okay, this is the update status, result that payload, that makes sense. And then in your preprocessor, you didn't change anything there. You're still doing
Yeah, the
stuff.
preprocessor, it's exactly the same.
Cool. Awesome.
Well, I don't want to move that.
And you mentioned you were having trouble logging.
Well, finding the logs, right? I always assumed this was like in a Lambda function. It's not. So getting to the AppSync, that's where Benoit was helping out. It's so if I go to CloudWatch,
Did you enable logging on the API? Because it won't log by default.
interesting.
In your
We can see.
settings,
Schema settings
and then scroll down just a little bit.
on.
Login is on, but there's a. Can you click on edit for me just to verify something real quick? And if you scroll up from there, yep, like it's on. Everything is going through. So then now, not to like steer this rodeo, but if we can go to your tab with the queries running, the mutation rather,
Here.
and then you see that little button that says logs on the, yeah, if you click that, now when you run the mutation, it'll give you the view in CloudWatch thing.
This is why I have you here. It's like these secrets around the system. So,
yeah,
okay.
secret checkbox.
And it opens in a new window. Okay, so we're here and it's all advanced. So it's just, it will log anything from the preprocessor, the actual command execution and all that.
You
Okay.
got it. So as you use AppSync more, your eyes will get used to this, but like it'll say things like before request function evaluation. Like it's telling you where it's at. So then now you can like use that to quickly get to your part.
Begin execution. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So in here, info code.js 5, ID is null and values are 0. So there's something wrong with our mapping.
Cool. But like now we can troubleshoot this and see what's going on.
Yeah.
So the ID isn't getting to it. And did you pass an ID in your mutation?
Yeah. So if we look at the mutation, I got the ID and the status.
Looks good. So we just need to go back to your that log here. ID and it's values.id that it's pulling from. And your can you go back to your so context.args.input? How did we get to input?
From args input. That's, I mean, in the schema, this, right?
On your your put operation is called add. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Context.args.input, that makes sense. Let's head back to the console.
Yep.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. That's what I meant to say. Input.values. So we're pulling off values.
Yeah.
Or rather, you're calling it values. So why aren't you getting the ID?
And I can just console log this.
I would do yeah, just the args.
Well, are you back? I didn't mean to press that, but nice. I can see the logs. Sam build. And is the storm still like going on over there?
Yeah, it's gonna be an all-day thing. So I think I'm good. We'll see. The nice thing is that the grass is well watered today.
Yeah.
So
Can save some money on the sprinkler system.
home insurance is through the roof, but you know, grass is good.
It's green. So Sam is asking if there's an easy way to run and debug locally.
Yeah, if you AppSync does come with utils. So I guess like two things that could be improved on this process. One, we're writing in JavaScript. So you can write it in TypeScript and then transpile it to JavaScript. That'll give you, because I'm assuming right now what we're dealing with is like
Types.
yeah, it's a variable that we're delving too deep in or something like that. So that's one thing that would improve it. That's not an AppSync thing. The AppSync thing specifically are the testing utils. So we have two ways of doing it. We have the normal AppSync way, which is a testing library, and you can use that just like almost run it like a unit test. It's like, hey, here's the file. Use this package to check if it's valid or not. That's one way. The way that I would do it, and this is a plug for my buddy here, Benoit is an amazing community builder. Are you a hero yet, Benoit? You should be. But he took that package and made a UI on top of it, and it makes it so that you can have this really cool and intuitive way of testing out your resolvers locally. That's probably like once you get beyond the basics and you have a bunch of resolvers, or you're just comfortable with it and you can use it for every project. I would use it for every project.
Should we give that a try to improve our iterations? What's
I
your
think
thought?
let's delve into it once we get past once we get this. Otherwise, we might be introducing a couple too many steps. So context.args has the ID and the status.
So let's look at the code. So context.args doesn't have input or
That
values
is-
or anything.
Is it because you're destructuring it in the preprocessor?
So would it be just ID and like status here, right?
Yeah.
And then here I would just do
It's
ID.
weird that it doesn't have input.
And let's just do this status, right? Oh, wait, wrong line. ID and values is just the status right now. Feeling better about this.
I'm just wondering why the input isn't there. Huh.
Should it be args.input?
It based off of our schema, if we flip back to that, yeah, your pizza order input.
When I was doing this with Bet, it seems like this is like a GraphQL
Oh.
syntactical thing, not like we're actually providing an object, but if you have more than one,
You're
or
right. I'm
you
going
can
brain
pass in
dead.
just a single input with multiple things. So I think
Yeah,
it's
input
just
is
abstracted.
it's the GraphQL way of saying I'm giving you an object. I'm
Yeah.
just being ridiculous.
And we
right
tested
now.
you can only do one input
Yes,
if
that
you're
is
doing
true.
an object, which makes sense. Okay, I deployed. That was quicker. Okay. Moment of truth. Update. Mutation. Come on. Do I need a refresh? Does this kind of auto?
No, yeah, it should pick it up. And the deployment is done.
Seems like it is, but
Yeah, it looks like it.
let's try it again.
To the logs, Batman.
Yeah, let's do it. There we go.
Cool. Does Sam have a watch mode? I don't know.
Sam, it has Samsync. Yeah, but it didn't seem to have like a hot swap. So I did try that initially,
Mm-hmm.
and I changed the schema, and it didn't trigger, so it didn't kind of.
Oh, okay. That might
refresh.
be a CDK only thing.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think it recently got released, right? Like the hot swap for CDK or
Yeah.
in AppSync.
Like a month ago. Yeah, that's fairly recent.
It's not identifying any changes. Come on. Okay, good. I guess I did deploy it correctly.
Yeah, all
So
good.
to the logs. We should be like 12:47. Well, that my time.
I didn't realize you weren't always an hour behind me.
No, I moved to this little corner in Texas
Oh,
called
that's
El
right.
Paso. That's different time zone than the rest of Texas.
How close are you to Mexico these days?
10 minutes,
Okay.
less than a mile.
Yeah.
So like right here across the street, it's like the Rio Grande, but the kind of with New Mexico, you go a little bit further and now it's with Mexico. So it's pretty close. It's pretty close. I go over there regularly. My grandparents live over there, so I go visit and stuff.
Nice.
Okay.
Right, so let's scroll up.
Context args.
Yep.
ID received. And then this is, I added another.
There.
So this is this, and then now here we're doing this. So key and values. So payload key ID is this, and values is status.
Yep, that makes sense. Can you go back? So that we have the data in the right spot. What we need to be doing though is oh, I haven't used this API in a while. Usually I use the helper. Put item. And what is it? The error message that it needs a key?
Put item requires a key to be provided, which is here.
On line 4, to map values you have. So I guess like on line 8, you're passing key and you're getting it from line 4. But isn't it called ID though?
Yeah, so it seems like we're wrapping it. So if I do this, I think it's the string, just the plain string for the key. Would that work? It's not like the object. Because if we look we look at the logs. Boom, boom, boom. Was it no
Yeah.
here? So key.id.
Yeah. So we just have to pass, like Benoit says it in the chat, like over in, so we just need to be passing the key, like just the value for the key.
Okay, so I see. So it's key object. This doesn't need ID. So it's just ID.
Over in, no, I think we have everything that we need, but over in your update pizza, yeah, this one on line 8, is it?
Oh yeah, okay. So oh true. I keep changing the console log. So this shouldn't be an object. It's just this.
Yes.
And now the key is the ID. But what if you have like with AppSync, is it all a single key kind of thing? You don't have like you can't use the partition key and sort key in DynamoDB?
You can. I don't recall how to do it.
Okay,
But yes, you can. You can pass in a composite key.
cool. So let's try AppSync, see if it works.
Also, one of the things I was saying is that I actually don't use this library. You can. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. But AppSync has helpers for the basic CRUD operations, which are really, really nice.
Where do those live?
Good question. While you're testing that out, I will pull up the docs on those.
Sweet.
But I think the current, maybe not issue, but the current stumbling block is how we're handling things in that preprocessor. Typically, you would just pass. You don't have to process things. You can, and it doesn't make your life any more difficult or hard. But it's like one more thing to grok.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, folks will use that if they're not doing anything crazy. They'll just use that to pass the values. But all good, all good.
It's the unexperienced person in me. It's what came with the SAM template. But it's the kind of knowing, and for people that create templates, it's just knowing how people are going to consume it, because you can see what happens. Like, oh, I saw pipelines. I'm going to follow that pattern.
Yeah.
Even if I don't need it, because I don't know how to do it without the pipeline, because that's the example I got.
I feel that.
Okay.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I dropped a link in the chat with that shortcut. So after we test this out, we can see what's going on here. That's okay. That's okay. Do you see the public chat?
Yeah. So let me. Oh, well, I showed it. How can I copy? I can't.
Oh.
Send it in the private chat.
I put it in Slack.
Okay. And here we go. Add post resolver.
So you'll see like the second line there, right? So there's a DynamoDB helper where all you have to do is like that. Like, so say you have your arguments that you want to pass through, you extract the ID, or you can create, your unique ID. We don't need to do that part. And then you just put it as that.
Interesting. Okay. So I'm
going to put this super easy.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep this as a reference on the side. We're going to import this. It comes as part of the utils. So I already have it. And then we're going to do the request. We got the context. So then it is the item, which is this. So we can keep the arguments.
Yep. And another thing, if you don't mind, can we get rid of that console log and just log out like context.args on line 6?
So let me kill this and then just do here.
How do you do that so fast?
I've got custom hotkeys. I'm a hotkey person, so I got my custom hotkey. So I got like Control Shift 6 is this. I got one Control Shift 8 as the console log with JSON stringify, so it just wraps it all.
Okay.
Just to
Gotcha,
make my
gotcha.
life a little bit easier.
For sure. If you don't mind, you read my mind. I was gonna say we can get rid of that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, so we're logging out the args. And then on this update, this is the preprocessor. Let's make this one, because we keep having to flip back and forth, right? Let's make
Yeah.
this one super easy. All
Yep.
we're gonna do is instead of returning the payload, we're just gonna return context.args. Or I guess what can we return? The context.
The whole context?
Yeah.
Or I don't even need to do this. I don't need the dots. There we go. What else does the context have though?
It has so it'll tell you things like what are the arguments? One, are there any values that you like to stash? Are those there? It has information on the identity. So is this a Cognito user or is this just a regular, IAM user or whatever? All of those things are provided. So it's just one big object.
And we're basically just going to bypass this. So keep a little bit of the structure we have, but we're just going to proxy the info.
Oftentimes what you'll use this for is to stash variables. So say you have two things. Say you have a function, like our next step is to put something in DynamoDB. DynamoDB is still, sometimes that is like the end all, right? People, you put stuff in the database and you're done. But sometimes you want to do things like in an application I'm building now, store information in DynamoDB, but take some of the arguments, and then now that I know that it's saved in DynamoDB and I get that response back, now I want to send information to the user via Twilio. And you can do that stuff in a pipeline, but I don't want to keep passing all of these things because now like my database function needs to know about Twilio stuff. So you just typically use this to stash variables for later use.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, to be used in the rest of the pieces of the pipeline. Cool. Okay. So now we've got the full context here.
Yeah. So now we can clean this up a little bit and say on line 4, let's just say that line 4 is context.args. And then,
just like this.
yeah, because now we know that it's going to be, and it's not called key and value, is it? Or is it in the schema?
In the schema,
That update input.
the update its ID and status.
Okay, so we know that context.args.id exists and .status will exist.
Yes.
So then over in that resolver.
Nope. Here.
Cool. So then instead of key and values, we'll switch that to ID and status, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now, if we use that utility.
Let me import that. Import AppSync Dynamo. Yep.
Nice. And then it is. So
Here
it's
we
just,
got.
yeah, DynamoDB, ddb.put.
Yeah, so let me get rid of this. So it's return ddb.put. And then key, it needs, not P. Key is ID.
Yep.
And then item is just the status. We're going to, does it need to be marshal, unmarshaled?
The nice thing is that this will automatically marshal it for you.
I'm going to make a move to AppSync. These are the things I want for API Gateway.
Well, it's what we had in the AWS SDK version, what was it, version 2?
2?
Yeah.
It did it automatically. Now we need to call marshal and unmarshal separately. So
yeah. Benoit has a point. We want to do, I mean, he has a point. Like we want it to be update. Put is that, try to create it if it's
it's going to replace. It's going to replace the whole thing, but we don't want to lose the crust and the ingredients. That would be.
Speaking of crust, you talk for a little bit. I'm gonna eat this PBJ that I made when I was battling a tornado.
Stress eating. Cool. So update item key works the same. Is it like this? Since if I were
Hmm.
using TypeScript, I would get a better information, but I'm
Yeah,
not.
this is all available in TypeScript, but you're right, it's update.
Cool.
Just
But
throw
do
that
you
out
need
there.
like update expression or does this take care of it?
My man, we're good.
Yeah, you're making a true believer in AppSync now. I've done this all in VTL. It's like, oh, it's so complicated. And then if you have a conditional property, it's like, oh, it gets worse.
Done. Game over. Throw the whole app away.
Yeah. So I wasn't tracking the Samsung, but I don't think it updated at all. So it did the first deployment and it didn't do anything else.
All good.
So I'm just gonna do sam build, sam deploy. No, not sam deploy. Come on. Oh,
Yeah, Raphael has a awesome comment. Like, if API Gateway had JS resolvers, that would be
game
nice.
changer.
Game
Game
changer.
changer.
But honestly, like, even this is just me. Even before API Gateway gets that, like, I would like step functions to get something aside from their ASL. Like, because that step function syntax, I want to use them so badly, but their syntax is putting me off.
Yeah, I've done a lot of step functions, which is why it's
You get
easy
it?
for me. Yeah, I get it, and I can quickly. And I've been using like the App Composer and with Workflow Studio.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you do that in VS Code also?
yeah, that's
That's so
how I've
cool.
been doing it with Samsync, right? So it's
Yeah, yeah,
automatically upgrading. It's like, oh, cool. So there's definitely a lot.
yeah, yeah. Did we
Um,
get a build failure?
it's a delete. I
Oh,
should
okay, we're
probably
good.
give some feedback there that they shouldn't put the delete as red because it's happened several times. Like, oh, it's failing. Oh
They
no,
need
it's a
like
delete.
3 colors. Like, I guess,
Yeah,
yeah, switch it to yellow, like, if anything.
yeah. It's an action that's happening.
Yeah. But yeah, like Raphael says, like, CDK with step functions, you can do it. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, my wish list is to build it in the console, because now you get the visual workflow or app composer. And then when you're done deploying everything, don't give me the SAM version. Just like give me the ARN of my workflow so I can bring that in to my CDK project. Like, that would be good enough for me.
Yeah.
All right, let's test out this bad boy.
Jeez.
Oh no.
Unsupported element identity.
Supported element. Why would we?
Is it because we're passing in the whole args object here, and it should be dot input?
We don't need to do.
No, we're passing in. Sorry, just do dot args here.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, that
over
was my
here, this would be we would need the prev.
No, we could still do
Previous.
context.args there. That's
It's
perfectly
just
fine.
okay. Let's keep going. Keep going.
Because that context is going to carry for each resolver.
Okay, so it's just there. It's like the always comparing to the things I actually use. So it's the request context and the from API Gateway. If you have like a Lambda authorizer, you can enrich the request context that you can then consume in a Lambda function or the step
Exactly.
function. Cool. Okay.
User.
User. So the kind of the takeaway here is TypeScript is better. So I should probably use it more.
It's yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna hold you in. It's TypeScript is better. It's simply for the developer experience, right? It took me like I would say a while to get used to, but only because like I see people online building with it and they're like generics and like angle brackets everywhere for all of your stuff, and I'm like, I don't want, like, it looks intimidating. Is this the new build?
Yeah, it changed
Unsupported
from
element.
identity to ID. So we reduced, now we're actually have ID and name, but I don't know what's actually being But yeah, it's this type of stuff. If we had the type and all that, we wouldn't be struggling.
Well, it's but then I was like, types versus interfaces and all this other stuff. It got complicated for me, so I gave up. Once I realized that you can just use types and just use types. That's all I use. Like, it became very easy for me. Okay.
Yeah.
What do we have here? We're tripping over our own toes. We
Yeah,
have
it's
ID
saying
and status.
ID is not valid. So somewhere it's not liking ID.
Uh,
And I'm
online.
assuming here.
No, this line is good. Like, we no longer have to touch this file.
Okay.
So we're all up in here. We have the key. Can we look at that doc example again?
Here.
He just comes over like so slow. And let's click on, because I sent you the link for put, but is it different for update?
Update post.
Yeah. And then
You see, there's a condition.
it doesn't, that
Oh,
condition
no, you
doesn't
don't.
have to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
But the looks like the key, that's the main thing. Like, the key is an object with an ID.
And we have the key.
Yeah, so that's why it's like, hey, unsupported element, bro. Like, you got to give me an object.
There.
And then can we
Key
flip back?
ID.
Because now we have a different part where we have an update.
Okay, so it's DDB update. And then instead of item, let me just break this down a little bit.
Yeah. And so the semantic trip up that we're having right now is that we're using this to update an existing item, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we already have the resolver to create an item.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, update makes sense. We don't need the condition, and it should just be this.
Let's give it a
Can you-
try.
Status with the arg status. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you have music on in the background?
For myself, no. It's probably my kids. They're on vacation now. But we do have the music from the stream.
It sounds like ice cream truck music.
Really?
I don't
We're
know.
going for like 90s arcade video game.
I live in Iowa, man. We're like 15 years behind the rest of the world. All right. There we go.
Shouldn't it be key? I don't know
Yeah,
if that's
he caught it,
yeah, we
like,
already
right
did it.
when-
Okay.
Right when we
Cool,
saw
cool.
it. And that's the thing, is like, not to like beat this drum too hard. Like, TypeScript would have been like, yo, like,
Yeah.
you can't pass
No,
me a string of ID.
I'm gonna try it out.
We it's low hanging fruit to get set up. Just throw that out there.
Yeah. But yeah, I would have protected a lot of my bad coding abilities with
I love that you use the word protected, like it's like defenseless. It's like it needs help.
Let's run it. Cheese.
Oh, cheese and rice. Unsupported
doesn't-
element ID.
Line 2. Does the line correlate to what we have here? No, because that wouldn't make sense.
No. ID update status.
And then key, object of ID. And I have an object.
Use.
And status. What is it not liking?
Let's see here. Mhm. We're smart. We can figure this out.
I'm.
You're like, I don't know.
I don't
Stay
know
with me.
anymore. These live streams are pushing me down.
Stay
No.
with me, my man. Stay with me. All right. What am I doing here?
And we are DDB update key, update with an object with the stuff we want.
Yeah, but even looking at my own example, I just put it in the chat. I'll send it to you in Slack as well.
Yeah.
Even looking at my own example, let's see here, the update object. There we go. Can you bump that up just so that the folks
Oh, yeah.
can... So I think I see what's going on. So when you use that update operation, right? You give it the object of the things that you want to update, but it doesn't know, like, so say your DynamoDB table has 6 items on it. You have to tell it which ones to replace. So you can see lines 12 through 15.
Lines 12. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, hey, like when it comes to the title, we're going to replace it with this. So I think...
Oh. So it needs like this DDB operations replace. And it's kind of the complexities when you're doing like a patch in a REST world. You have a
Yes.
patch. It's like, okay, am I adding it? Am I deleting it? Am I updating it? And you kind of need a more context. Okay, so let me copy this.
Yeah. And the reason that AppSync enforces that way is because it doesn't know if you actually want to replace something. Say you have a version and like you want to increment it. Well, instead of replacing that item, you can tell like increment by 2. And now you have an automated process or decrement. All those operations are available to you. So you have to specify what you want to do.
Okay, that makes sense. Look at us learning. Well, at least I'm learning. You had an example.
I'm remembering. It's like, oh yeah, look at this.
But that's useful, right? Because like I said, do you want to clear it? If I pass in an empty string for status,
Right.
you might want to delete that, right? So you can not do a replace and do a delete.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this operations, if I had TypeScript, I could look deeper into this, but.
Well, I mean, what if you just rename update status to .ts real quick? In VS Code.
Let's finish this deployment.
Okay. Easy, Michael, easy.
Whoa.
I'm like, IntelliSense is as simple as renaming the file. You're like, look, man, best I can do is Sam build.
Yeah, that's. I guess I can do it now. The artifacts are there. So let me. Just got a new keyboard, so I can't type.
Ooh.
Doesn't like this.
That's okay because it's a global. I mean, you can install it locally, but it's globally available.
Okay.
Within the AppSync runtime. But like in dev, you would install that utils package, and then the idea is that we would have IntelliSense on all of these types.
Nice. Okay. You ready? Boom. Jeez.
Oh my goodness. No, something else is going on then.
And it's here. It's definitely here. Okay.
Update is an object.
What?
Okay, so do you see my code example?
Let me pull it up.
So,
Are we actually getting the data how you expected, right in the context args?
yeah,
You said it flows through, yeah.
So do you see on line 11, like my update object, it is of that type, and that's fine. But really it's an object. And then we're using status. So let's just use like status as an example here, : operations, replace, and then we're passing in the new value. Is that basically what we have?
Yeah, look.
Update status. Let's see here. And then the key is correct. Let's focus on that key real quick though.
Hold on. These are different well, should we just do, doesn't seem like it's using, I don't think it should change anything, but
Of what?
here it doesn't seem to be using this, but I don't know if it's because we're not specifying the full key value. Just going
I'm
by colors here. I don't know. Just
oh that's I'm I'm really thrown that it's not context.args.input. We logged it and it was there.
but we changed some stuff. So let's do this quickly, right? So I'll just do this. Sam build. Might be different.
I could have swore like I was like, I don't know, that input should be there. And then we logged it out and it like I said it shouldn't be there, and then we logged it out and it was there. That part kind of threw me.
Sam deploy. We'll get this quick. See, we're not going to get to the AI portion, distributed into every region in AWS.
Honestly though, once we get going, like what do we have, like 45 minutes left? In
Yeah.
45 minutes, like we can still do this. I'm not throwing this out as like
Nice.
the realm of not being able to get done. I'm saying like CRUD operations plus UI. Just you wait. It's gonna be like 5 minutes left. I'm like, sorry, folks.
We'll blame the tornado. It's fine.
Oh man.
Okay. Let me
Okay,
run
so
this.
here's what I'm expecting. What did you log out real quick?
The context args from the actual resolver.
Okay. Yeah, because my understanding is that it should be context.args.input.
What is this?
So we'll see what happens here.
Okay, it's
That
this
latest
one. And then content args. It's ID and status.
Something is wrong. That's ABB.
Evaluation result. That's what Benoit, the evaluated request. So it
Something's
doesn't like this.
it like 100% should be context.args.input. Can we look at your
So
schema one more time? Okay, so this is
wait, this is your example.
yeah. Oh yeah,
But
yeah. Let's pull it. See,
but we don't have input, right? It's just context.args, and this is coming back correctly.
I think.
And then over here, we're just doing context.args. Something.
In your schema,
Let me go back here. My schema.
this is
The,
update. Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why it's
yeah,
not input.
we don't have the input
I was
object.
looking
Yeah.
at line
Okay.
13 this whole time. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so context.args makes sense. It has to be there. Cool.
And then here it is.
Yep.
Could it be something here? Context result. It doesn't like something that should be. Let's look at your context result as to do. No, it's the same. It's the freaking same.
It's the freaking same. I know. 1 second here. So maybe it's in the pipeline where like something is going crazy with that. So I'm gonna look at some of my code. Let's see here.
What are the functions in the pipeline? So we got the update order status and the command, which
In
is the pre-process.
on line 6, can you just make that an empty object?
In the actual resolver?
In the request though, or line 16 is good. It could be context.previous.result because that'll run like at the very end. So context,
Huh?
yeah. And then on oh no, sorry, this thing is fine. I was talking about the pipeline part.
Here.
Yeah, there you go. So context.prev.result.
But this doesn't have a previous. This is the preprocessor.
So that response, that's basically saying the request runs at the very beginning. then you have your mapping templates, and then that response runs at the very end. So it's like whatever you got from whatever ran before me, return that value.
But this is the first step.
Yeah,
This is the preprocessor.
It's a little weird because in our resolvers, that is like request response. Like those two run back to back. The difference is that in your pipeline, that request runs at the beginning of whatever you're trying to do, and the response runs at the very end.
So we got from Benoit the check evaluation and the result of both function logs. So let's.
Yes. But on just real quick on line 3.
Okay, one sec. Here.
We'll just make that an empty object. Cool. It's like we're not trying to do anything special in here. We're just going to return like just an object.
Okay. We could just kill this from the pipeline, right?
At this point, like, and this is like the beauty of, I know you mentioned using a pipeline, but you don't have to, folks in the crowd. You can use just what's called a unit resolver, which is, hey, I only have one thing that I'm trying to do. But okay. I think we're in a good spot. Let's deploy, and then we'll check the logs like Benoit was saying.
Cool. Sam build.
And then to his point, while this is doing its thing, let's verify that we in fact only have one function in this pipeline.
Sam deploy. Okay, so back to the console here. So here are the logs, right? So it runs the first one before request.
And that's the pipeline request.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get into our actual function,
which is
all of that stuff.
The summary, basically. And then it's this one is the. And
then then we have our response. So we're good there.
Request summary. But where's the response for the second function? Execute duration, or this is the whole thing?
Yeah. We're not logging anything in our.
And the second one. Yeah. Okay. So it's deployed. Run my mutation.
Okay. It was the object from the first part.
It was messing it up, the chain.
Yeah, context.args. And that's, I'll take that, folks. That's my fault. I was totally like putting context.args. Okay. We're good. Let's test it out. Let's switch order status to like receive 3.
So receive 3. We run it. Run mutation, receive 3.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, so now the actual subscriber. So we're subscribed to this, right?
There's the ID that we want to be listening to.
Yeah, so I got it here.
And I guess there's 2 ways to look at this. You can either subscribe to just one of those, and that's fine. Or you could say, I want to subscribe to any of them. And the difference.
Yeah, that's what I saw. There's filters, right? That you can apply, like event filters and EventBridge.
Exactly.
Cool. So.
I guess the question is like, what are we trying to do?
I'm thinking, hey, Michael, you order a pizza, you're tracking your order, right? Kind of an individual order. So I think this works.
Yes.
So are you looking at the code?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got the schema and we have this on pizza order ID. And at some point we talked about, hey, should it match the exact name on the attribute here?
By
convention?
Yeah.
Woo, I've heard that one.
It's you hear? Oh, do you hear the lightning?
Yeah.
It's like I keep like, if you see me doing this, I'm like, oh shit, here we go. I'm still here, folks. But if it cuts out again, I don't have another backup.
So we have the subscription. I changed the ID, so I'll just do Sam build and Sam deploy for that. it must match if you want to use it as a filter. Okay, so, and I keep forgetting to pop these up for everyone to see. Cool. So if you're doing the other version, let's say you're an administrator and you want to keep track of every order and you select 5, you can then apply a filter to that subscription and only receive those updates.
Yeah, the use case that I often see is a 3 application where you have the customer that ordered the pizza. They want to get the subscription of like pizzas on the way, but then the restaurant needs to get every single order so that the cooks can see what's coming in, and then the driver just needs the one that they're looking for.
Nice.
So, and then the cool thing is that, I mean, you can do all the crazy filtering and you can manipulate the data by creating your own resolver for your subscription. But out of the box, AppSync will just like create this part for you. Like subscribing doesn't take too much outside of this subscription type that we have set up here.
This is what's magical, right, with AppSync, right? I've built my own WebSockets using API Gateway v2, and you have to store the sessions or the connections in DynamoDB and all that. And being able to just do this, it's mind-blowing to me. So a question here is the graph bolt. You remember last week when we tried in Postman, it complained that the schema, this is not valid.
Right.
I'm assuming GraphBolt, you said it's using utility from AppSync under the cover, so this shouldn't be a problem.
We have the author in the chat.
Yeah, that's kind of asking you, Benoit.
And then correct me if I'm wrong, because I promised Benoit that we'll get on stream and talk about this sometime. It's a VTL validator. I don't know if it needs to. I think you changed it to ID, right?
Yeah, I need to either. Can I do it directly here? Oh, yeah.
If you refresh.
No. There's no little refresh. Okay, the whole thing.
I don't know if you could actually run it, but something I'm curious about. If GraphBolt supports running your resolvers, let me know.
We got subscriptions.
It's magic, you know. All right.
I need. It's Jonathan takes care of this stuff, but where's our celebratory? Yeah, I can't find it.
Sorry, I'm not Jonathan.
And he's doing all the little
me,
the pop-up things.
I was wondering how he did that. He had like confetti. I was like,
there it is.
How did you do that?
So overlays, I don't know if they're like plugins you get from like the community or like out there, or you just upload your own, right?
Duh.
So he did we could do it's pizza time.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Okay, all right, guys, we're cooking with gas now.
Yes.
Flick a switch and we're just going. I mean, you're from Texas, so you're all about charcoal, but we're moving fast now. So sorry, Hank Hill.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a subscription, so now we could do orders received.
I'm thinking.
Adding
thinking
sauce, and then we'll get adding sauce, and we got the status, and we can keep boom, 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 boom. Okay.
Nice.
I don't think we have to be that granular. Applying pepperoni, applying 2 mushrooms.
we have other CRUD operations to do.
Yeah.
We have 30 minutes, and I'm still promising a UI.
Okay.
All right.
So what do we jump next? Do you want to jump into the UI?
Let's. Well, what operations do we have so far?
We can create, update status.
We can add.
And we can add a pizza.
Okay. We don't need to delete. And in this application, it doesn't really make sense to list out all of your pizza orders. No. Man, it's UI time. Let's do it.
Okay.
It's morphin time. I'm like, ready.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to sit down for this one, folks. So we're
lowering
low real quick. Getting close.
Okay. So you'll guide me, or if you want to drive, you're here.
License got revoked.
I don't know if I gave you Oh, so you're not here?
I need a new link. Is what I meant by that, folks. My license is fine.
If they see you driving on the street, they're gonna stop you. Don't do it, Michael. Why?
It's a tornado coming. I gotta go. Okay. So we have this update, and yeah, can you send me a VS Code link?
Yeah, I just sent you in our exclusive private chat. I can send it in our more exclusive private chat in Slack.
Okay. What are we working with today? We're gonna go React.
We can React is the thing I'm trying to learn. So looking at you build something in React will definitely help me.
Ooh. How do you build your UIs?
Right now
Like Postman.
I'm in like for work we use Angular and we have like a big template that just takes care of everything for me and I can just add components and it works.
That makes sense.
So my next step for like my personal project is obviously we already played around with the Amplify Gen 2 and more with the Amplify components and just playing around more with like CSS and actual component building.
Got you. I have to get terminal access unless you want to scaffold this out for me.
I can just be gentle.
Okay. Let me request.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Cool.
I'll make this smaller. There you go.
What are we doing here? I'm not used to this. It's PowerShell? Is that the terminal that I'm in right now?
It is PowerShell. If you want me to type, I can do it.
Cheese and rice, Batman. Okay, yeah, let's do we're gonna do this all client side React, right?
Yeah.
Should be quick. So we are going to get a Vite app up to scaffold our React app. So can you do a LS for me just to see where we're at? We're in the project.
Yeah, so I can.
Okay. And then, so let's do npx. And then, or no, what is it? npm create.
It is npx, right?
I think for maybe, I don't know. I always do npm create. And then we'll do vite at latest. VITE. Yeah, right.
Latest. That it?
Cool. Let's hit enter on that. I think we got to give it a name. We'll see. We'll say yes.
Sure.
There we go. We'll just call this like pizza front end. We're gonna go React.
Preact. What's that?
We'll go TypeScript with SWC. Just a different.
What's SWC? Well,
it's so you could use a regular Webpack compiler. I think SWC uses TurboPack. I don't know, these front end nerds, like we just name stuff and use it. I don't know. Cool, but it's giving us all the instructions. This is just creating a React app, folks in the crowd. And so let's kind of think through this real quick. What do we need in terms of an application, right? We need, because we can, what do we have? 25 minutes left.
Yeah, so it's a form with a crust text box and ingredients text box.
Love it.
And create the pizza to call the mutation.
It's like step one is making sure that we can create in a web app.
Yep. And then we get the ID, we subscribe, and then we're just pushing statuses.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
Do you want me to run it or?
A couple of things. We have to get, yeah, go ahead and run it. Let's get that going.
Boom.
And then once we get going, then I can start driving. Okay. And let's verify. Does anybody know why it's 5173?
The port?
Yeah.
Is site? Is it?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Oh, what did I win? No.
A pizza app. You get
Yeah!
a pizza app.
I get a free pizza.
Yeah, it's site. So
Nice.
Okay, super quick. What can we do here? Let me get this app going. Um, can I'm not sharing my screen. Let's get me a.
But I think I can follow you here. Or if you want to share yours.
Yeah, I can share. This is the me show now.
Okay, let me pop.
Present screen, entire screen.
Okay,
Booyah.
we'll now get what a real coder's computer looks like.
This is. Let's make some room here. So we're just gonna get rid of the status bar at the bottom, and we're gonna hop into the front end. So in this source directory, we can go to the app.tsx, and honestly, like I'm just gonna clean this up and get rid of all of this stuff in here. There we go, from here all the way to here, I think. Yep. And we don't need any CSS actually, or any of this stuff now.
I don't believe in CSS. It's just
No.
plain HTML. It's how I roll.
So what are we trying to do? We need a UI. How do you want to create your UIs? What do you usually use? Tailwind? You're a
I
Tailwinder?
totally just use Angular and just what have I used? Just plain material components and stuff like that. So
Okay.
nothing too
Let's keep it ugly then, for the sake of
time.
yeah. We know that we need an input, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So let's get that up in here. This is going to be the input for the, what is it again?
The pizza order. So it's a crust.
Cursed.
What
And
else
then
do we got? Ingredients.
And that's
It's
just a
just a plain
string of
text.
stuff?
Yeah. Right now, yeah. Ingredients.
Anything else?
I'm looking at the schema. Pizza order. It's just ingredients and crust. Keeping it simple.
I love that. Cool. We'll come up in here and we're just going to wrap this in a form, and we can throw in an on submit because we're cool like that.
Nice.
Typical stuff, right? We need a handle submit. Handle submit. And this function is going to do what? Send an API request using amplified libraries, right? Cool. So we're going to say like send API request. I cannot type today. Awesome. Let's sort of get
Handle
this in
submit.
here. And typical action of a form is for it to refresh the page. We don't want that. Thank you, Copilot. And it's like, yo, we're in TypeScript land, right? So
Yeah.
this form has a, like needs typings. Otherwise it doesn't know that this prevent default exists. How can we do that? We can hover over here and we see that it's a HTML form element, right? So we're just gonna boop
Copy that.
one of those. It should be good. You don't know that it's on there. Oh, come on. On submit. We are. Why is that not working? Don't know. That's okay. Let's just back this up a little bit. We're not getting caught up on types today.
That's what usually
As
happens to me.
I'm like, TypeScript is so great. And then I like slap this on here. So- okay. In any case, we have this set up. All I want to do right now is just verify that this is wired up. So we're going to say, hey, working. And then we just have to give this a quick test in the browser. So let me go over here. And then why isn't that working? Oh, it's not.
Because it's in
proxy.
mine.
Yeah. Silly.
Okay, so
Silly me.
I'll go to my console, and here's the UI, dark mode, beautiful.
Beautiful.
So then I want to hit the submit. So it's
Yeah,
crust
just
and
submit. Like nothing else is gonna happen. And what we're looking for is that the screen doesn't refresh. We're good.
we got hey working.
Awesome. I know, Benoit. We'll add fields in a name, and we'll get there. We're coded against time here. Couple things that we need. We need the Amplify libraries installed, right? So let's do that. And what we're gonna do, I have terminal access now, right? Cool.
Yeah.
Clear. I don't know how to do this. What is? Okay.
I can do that.
Okay.
So
npm I.
okay.
Can you do this? I'm
npm install at amplify, and I'll show my screen.
I think it's just what is it? Not at, but AWS-amplify. Yeah, cool.
And I need to be in the front end folder. So let me take this off. CD
Oh, good call.
pizza front end. Okay.
Cool. So once we do that, we're in the handle submit. We can grab those values. So I think it might be easier if you just follow what I'm doing instead of switching the screens between yourself and mine. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
So yeah, I can. Where was the share? And then follow Michael. There we are.
Cool. And then, like Benoit was saying, we're going to give this input a name so that we can access it later on. The name is going to be called, what is it?
Crust.
Is that what it is in the schema?
In the schema, I'm gonna unfollow you for a bit. In the schema, it's crust and ingredients. Yeah.
Got it. So we'll kind of do that same thing. Here we go. Ingredients, looking good. And then now we can sort of access those values. So we'll get them. Oh my God, it's going to do everything for me.
Is it Copilot, Wisp, or Amazon Q?
The one that helps my stock go up.
Oh, yeah.
It's Code Whisperer.
There you go.
Awesome. So we have this. We have the data in place. This should work. And then, yeah, I do want to do a little sanity check right here, just to make sure that we have the values.
Okay, so let me go back. Resubmit, or do I have to
Yeah.
refresh? No, there we are. Pan and pep.
Awesome. So we're good. And this is the data that we need to send over to the client. And
Yeah.
what that looks like is in the beginning. I was going to do some Gen 1 stuff. We have to go to the docs to generate all of this stuff for us. So I know that there are two things that we need. One are the front end libraries to configure Amplify so we can make this request. No big deal there. I think you're on the
Gen 2.
or if you just type in AWS Amplify docs. There we go. So two things that we need. One, configure the front end using the libraries, right? But that also means that we have to do something else, which is grab the outputs that our front end needs. So that way it knows what AWS backend we're trying to get access to, right? Neither of those are terribly difficult, but let's go to project setup. There we go. I think it's create. Okay, so this is the React portion, looks good. At the very bottom, libraries are installed, looks good. That's fine.
That's the end.
Okay, and we're looking for manual. Can you do like, you're on a Windows machine, is it Windows K?
To what? What do you want to do?
Like bring up like the sites, like search thing. Oh, Control K. There it is. It's right there at the top of your screen. And then just type in the word manual. Because we need a manual. You
pressed enter.
so fast. So, there we go.
This one? Use
think.
existing.
Looks about right. Okay, yeah, we can still do it old school. Um, Go ahead and keep that up for me.
Yeah.
Import, amplify, and I'm just copying this to the front end.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna run amplify.configure. Now, eventually, we're gonna move this into like separate files and make it look all cool and snazzy. But right now, we're just not that cool.
No, it's the get it working phase.
Yeah, get it working, guys.
Then we can clean it up.
Can you go to? I don't think this shows the GraphQL section, so you can click on GraphQL.
Here.
Yeah. There we go. And then, is there a, what does it say? Configure amplify on the right sidebar.
Configure.
Configure the amplify library. Yeah. Looks good. And we need, see where it says CDK?
Here?
Yeah.
Or this one?
So let's scroll down from there. There it is. So I'm going to, actually, if you don't mind helping me out and just copy and pasting that in this file. So we're
Instead of this?
these. Yeah.
There you go.
Cool. And then, so these are the values that we need. Now, two ways that we can approach this. We can either do it the proper way, which is have the SAM template, and this is me not knowing SAM, but have SAM export those values locally into some kind of file that we can read, or we can just go to the AWS console and grab the endpoint in the API key.
Yeah, kind of how it would flow is you deploy, you get the outputs, and then provide it to a separate stack. So if I open the terminal in where we were deploying, somewhere we were deploying, we could get it from there. But we've done so many things. This is so small. Here it is.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah. So there's the URL that we need. We don't have to be too fancy right now. I think we can just copy that and paste it into line 6.
And then it has an API key,
Yeah.
which would be here. So this is overly exposed, so we're fine.
Oh, fun fact is that API
Ah!
keys.
You moved.
Sorry. Fun fact. API keys in AppSync are meant to be public.
Oh, really?
Yes. So AppSync always has to have some kind of mechanism for authentication. But we consider that a public API key, aka don't use it for production or just testing and that stuff. That's what that's for. The cool thing is that it can live up to 365 days, and then it can be extended one more time for 365 days. But it's still just a development key.
Okay. Interesting.
All right. So we have
Let
this set up.
me. I don't need to deploy this. This is the UI.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Presumably. So now we can say API dot, or whoops. What do we have in here? Over in the docs.
You want me to pull open the docs?
Oh yeah, sorry. You're supposed to read my mind.
Add your
cool.
first record.
Yep, we just didn't. There was a step above though.
The generate client.
Yeah. So you
So
keep.
we did configure. Sorry, I keep
You're
jumping
good.
it.
Yep, that right there. Right there. So the cool thing about all of this is that we can have Amplify look at our GraphQL schema and be like, oh, cool. I see all of the operations that you're going to need based off of your schema. And it'll create those for me. Otherwise, we have to craft those ourselves, which is pointless because it's something that can obviously be automated.
Okay.
So what these two lines are saying in the docs is the very first time you run that command, you use that first command because you got to give it the region and give it your API ID. After that, that stuff is stored. So when you run the second command, that's if you ever update your API in the future.
And it's hooking up to the cloud and getting that information.
Yep,
Cool. So copy this.
you got it. And then we just got to replace the API ID value in the region value.
And is that API ID in the?
In your outputs, that I do not know. It's in the console. I mean, we can find it from the console.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Otherwise-
easier at this point.
Yeah, if we clear it out.
Where I leave here. So in the console, in settings,
Yes.
app ID, API ID. Okay. We're
Awesome.
rolling. Okay. So region, US East 1, API ID.
Cool.
This terminal is probably not connected. So we'll see.
Do you have SSO?
Yeah, I would need to.
Do you have a default profile that we're deploying to, or do you have to specify one?
This terminal's hooked up, so I'll switch the npm run dev to a separate one. And then I'll go here, and boom. And then over here, we're going to do npm run dev, so we have that one. This one doesn't need to be hooked up.
I'm so confused. So
You're so confused.
I think I get it.
So this terminal, I have like shortcuts here. So I got this null check one, which has the environment set.
Gotcha. You're like a power user.
And I just do AWS SSO login, and I have like 20 profiles. It's crazy.
So the cool thing is like it doesn't know anything about the app that we're trying to build. So we're gonna say JavaScript here, and even from there, you got to tell it, right? So this is a React application. It's like cool, fetching those API stuff. Let's go ahead and say TypeScript. So it'll even generate all the types for you, and we get enter through all of this, I believe. So you will say yeah, and it'll even like let you know like, hey, if you have like a deeply nested schema, you might not want it to go too deep because then you could have a cyclical reference that never ends.
Oh yeah.
So we'll stop it at 2. It generates everything, and if we look inside of our folder here,
I closed everything. Okay. In source, GraphQL, and it has all this stuff.
Boom. And this is exactly what we need in terms of the types, the queries, and the subscriptions.
Sweet.
So now,
I'll
let's
follow
go
you.
back to the amplified docs real quick. We're like right there. And if you go down, so we have right above that, the mechanism to generate the client. So we only need those first 2 lines. Like the first one is for the client. The second one is to like bring in the calls.
And then we'll need the subscriptions as well, right?
Yeah.
So it would be over here.
Perfect. Paste those in. And then from here, let me go ahead and get to work. What do we have? TypeScript is like, hey, it's declared, but it's never used. No big deal. And then these are all based off of a to do. And then if we use IntelliSense over that, you can see like we have the ability to add a pizza order or update one.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah. So now we just have to like do the dang thing and come down to right here.
You got update. Did you import the other one?
I didn't.
Okay.
What was it? Add? Yeah.
Add pizza order? Yeah.
So our client is going to equal, we'll say await. It's an asynchronous thing. Generate client. And, oh wait, Is it asynchronous? Can you check in the docs real quick for me?
It is the generate client's fine. It's the actual GraphQL call.
Okay, it doesn't need the await. So we're gonna do just like that. We can come down here and we can say const. And we're just updating a to do right now. Yeah.
This, you will be creating the pizza order.
Okay. So we'll say created order equals, and it is, what is it? Await. Client dot
Mutation.
I
can pop up and-
Yeah, the nice thing is that it all pops up for me.
Okay.
But I think
I don't think we can. I don't think we can see your IntelliSense
Oh,
going
gotcha.
because we're sharing my screen. But hey, tooling's nice.
Where is it though? I'm not seeing it.
I'm gonna scroll up a little bit.
Mutations dot. And I'm not getting IntelliSense on it. Can you head back to the docs? Maybe because we're in TypeScript land now.
It's client.graphql, then it's an object with
Okay. This is me mixing like Gen 1, Gen 2,
and Gen 2.
and CDK.
Because I'm remembering when we played around with Gen 2, it was just there, right? In
Yeah.
the mutations object.
Oh man.
Which is nice.
It is super nice. The query, this is just to say, the operation. The variables are going to be, what do we have here? This value, which is that object that we had earlier.
Yeah, which is value dot.
And then it was
It's going to be crust, ingredients.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just, yeah.
So we're going to add this. And then this is asynchronous. So let's just kind of log out the result. See, my fancy shortcut is CLG.
CLG. Oh, look at that.
So, oh, that's nice. Fucking noob. Okay. We'll save this up, and then now we can test this out in the console.
Where's their app? In the console or the app?
Or yeah, in the app.
It's here. So pan mushroom submit crust the data. We've got data, add pizza order, and we got the ID back.
Look at
Nice.
that.
So then now we can. It didn't like our.
Well, I was wondering, is crust part of the? Like, I don't think we did anything with crust on the update. Either way, like we know it's being saved. We just.
Yeah, it's going to lose the information during the flow, but I think it's how we're providing the information. It's not mapped. But that's something I can fix once. I'd rather get the, what is it, 1 minute?
Yeah, 1 minute for the subscription.
Yeah.
Is that the last step we want to do?
Yeah. And we can do it via console log.
We have a use effect in here. Okay. And we're going to say const. Oh my goodness, how do we do this in React? Here, so when we first load the app, set up the subscription, and it is client.subscriptions. Is this an object? App. Let's look to the docs. Here I am like fumbling with it.
The docs are here. So subscribe to real-time events.
There we go.
Generate client, create sub client
There it is.
GraphQL query subscriptions on with the name .subscribe.
Awesome. We need that part.
And it
17
doesn't-
through 12.
17 to 12, 7 to 12. So I'll copy that. And where are you? Put it in here.
There. Yep.
But you're not going to have the ID yet here on initialization.
So we'll put it in state. So we're going to say, oh, you're right. We can't subscribe to an ID when we don't have said ID. So what will we do?
Can we subscribe just right after the mutation?
Well, we want to tell it like start the subscription right away, but when I give you a new ID, like restart the subscription.
Okay.
So how do we do that? Oh, I'm so bad at reacting these days.
What do you use nowadays?
Okay, I know why I'm stumbling on this, because realistically, the ID will be like in a real app, the ID will be passed to like this update page, right? Like if we're
Yeah.
updating a page, like in an actual UI, you would have to be giving the ID ahead of time to know what
Yeah.
you're updating.
Yeah.
That's
So
why
you
I'm
would
like, how are we doing this? So here's what we're doing. We have the ID already in the front end. So let's just grab that and listen to it. And then we'll have a subscription and an updater. And
So
then I
it could
think
be after this.
on the front end,
Something new. But yeah, here we are on the front end, right? Here's where
Oh.
we're count.
in the
Count-
like in the actual UI though.
I don't
Like
know
on
what you-
on our on our webpage.
You're
in
losing me. In the
Chrome.
index?
In Chrome.
Okay, I'm like, what? Like, I don't know.
How do I say this? Okay, so we need that ID one more time. So we have some bad code in here, aka all of my code. So let me just save this so that way we're back to running.
Okay.
And then now we'll run it again. We'll grab the UI.
Okay.
Cool.
So
Yeah, you with me? So
yeah, we're
kinda-
going to subscribe to this specific order.
exactly. So now we can knock out two birds with one stone because I love doing that. We're gonna have an updater and a subscriber, and then we're done. So we're gonna have another button down here,
I'm not following you. Here you are.
and inside of this form, actually we already have the ID, so let's just modify this one, and we're just gonna pass it an ID. And this will be name equals ID. So that way we can come up here and say something like, if there is an ID, then we know you're updating.
Okay.
Right here. So if value.id exists, then update it. Otherwise, do this stuff. Like create a new one for me.
Okay.
And then, so now we can say const updated order. Look at Copilot Go. That was nice.
Nice.
Cool. Updated. We'll do updated order. And then in terms of the variables, what don't you like? We're missing the ID.
Would be the ID and the status, right?
Would be. Oh yeah, is that what we're needing here?
Yeah, if we're updating the order, it's just the status that you
There we go.
update.
So ID, status, and why isn't it like?
It's value.id. Yeah.
Thank you, kind sir. TypeScript is saying type file. Why is ID of type file? We're good. We're not getting tripped up on that. I think that's gonna work. So this is gonna update it, and then from here, let me just dupe this. Come right here, switch this to created order. Awesome. And then lastly, now that we have a way to update, so long as we provide an ID, we can subscribe. So we can come back to that use effect. And then can you bring in that code again for the use effect?
Yeah, it was create sub.
Awesome. Great. And then this is the sub looking good.
Subscriptions is on. Well, you should be getting IntelliSense there, right?
Yeah. Okay, so a couple things. You got to import use effect from React. Cool. Subscriptions isn't there. Is it client.subscriptions? I'm pretty sure.
It's
In the docs, it'll have the up or the import stuff.
I don't think we're importing the subscription here, so it would be on the top. Import blah blah subscriptions from GraphQL subscriptions. There we go.
No, I don't. I think that's a hallucination.
Yeah, it would be the on pizza add pizza order. Right?
That's the operation, but like on line 22, it's it doesn't know. So I was just wondering if you can go back to the amplify docs.
Amplify docs.
And then
Subscription.
yeah, like where is that? There we go. Okay, so it is all of our subscriptions. You were right.
I'm just sometimes.
Line 22 is good. Creating the sub is good. And then this would need the specific ID, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming, I don't know. Let me go back to the docs. Query, how do you do this with actual data?
Oh, I got it. It's so it's a variables similar to before.
Oh yeah, okay. Just like we did the other ones.
And then is it this? It needs the ID.
Yeah, it's just the ID.
Yeah, I think I'm stepping on your toes.
No, I'm stepping on yours.
And then can you
It's
pass
values or just hard code it?
yeah, this is the part where we have to hard code because typically we would pass this in.
As the path parameter.
Exactly.
So right now, this is it. It has extra quotes. Beautiful.
We save all of our curly braces matching up. I think we're missing one somewhere.
Let me hide this. So we got this, and then there's one more, yeah.
Cool. Do you have prettier enabled?
It should, yeah. Control Shift F. Oh, no, that's search. Alt Shift F.
Too many hotkeys. Okay, let's test this out. What do we have? Form data entry. Line 41 is throwing me, but let's see where we're at.
Value is missing status. What a looking at Benoit's
Oh yeah,
comment.
we're not. Oh, I think it's okay because we're hard coding
Yeah.
ready. All right, let's do this.
So going back.
So, oh wait, I'm going to. Oh yeah, we're logging out the data on line 24. Okay. So if we pass in an ID.
It is this one. Let me this.
Cool.
Just submit.
And then if we, I guess before you hit submit, what are we expecting here? Like we should get the response back from DynamoDB from our updater, but then we should also get our subscription fired off on line 24.
And this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're expecting 2 logs.
Fingers crossed.
Submit. We
got several.
We're updated. Create order.
So we got several for the ready.
This is good. Awesome. So our updater is working. I think it blew up on our subscription. On line 57. It's saying.
50. Here.
Oh yeah.
And,
oh, we're good. We're good.
yeah, but we did get, here's the 24. Here's the one we expected.
Yeah, we're subscribed.
So if I were to do this again, we get this one, right? So it's
Yep.
ready.
It was just mad at line 57 where we have a created order variable that is out of bounds. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I think we did it. And
Cool.
through the beauty
Ship
of
it.
TypeScript,
Ship it to production.
can you clear out the console and then just try it one more time?
34, 34, 37. Let me look at the lines. Oh, my voice. 34. That doesn't seem to line up.
I think there's one more test. I think the very last test, if you're okay with it, is we should update it in the AppSync console and see if we get the subscribed event in our UI.
Ooh. Okay. So here I have my mutation. So I change.
Me and Benoit are on the same page.
Oh yeah, wow.
That's my guy. Oh, Benoit, I'm coming to Paris. I forgot to tell you. During the Olympics, I'll be there. Not to like, not to
Nice.
like, what is the word? Dox your location. But
Yeah.
totally. But
Okay, let me clear here. Mutation.
Ooh,
We got it.
ooh.
Adding sauce.
Adding sauce.
Cool.
Oh,
Okay,
man,
so
with the
let me
tornado.
yeah, with it, it's pretty incredible. We got this done. You had to take cover from a tornado, massive storm. But recapping what we did, we got the subscriptions working. I suck at coding because I don't use types.
Just to recap.
Yeah, just to recap. But it is a pro that I've usually not stumble upon, but it's types would have helped me not fail in the whole communication that we have with the preprocessor and all that, because we would have known. So we got the subscription working. We got a quick UI. It's definitely ready for production, tested and all.
I think so.
And we're getting updates from the subscription in the UI, and we then posted a mutation from the console to the UI, proving that we're not hacking everything in the UI.
I love it.
Okay, I think I can treat myself to some pizza now.
That's like, yeah. If anything, we should have ordered pizza.
Cool. This was good.
It's fun. And like, just like when you think about it, I mean, it took us 2 hours to get this off the ground, which is like kind of a long time. But when you think about it, like we did a lot.
We a lot of troubleshooting, right?
And
you got a UI.
and actually, that's a really good point you brought up, is like when you think about what we actually did, that part wasn't too much. We stumbled on types and just getting things in the wrong spot. That took up the majority of what we did. And I left for like 15 minutes on top of that.
Yeah.
And then we were like, let's kill it.
The expert left the room for a while.
I kept messaging you like, I'm sorry. It's like
No, but we got this is what I was wanting to get to. So I really appreciate it, Michael. I appreciate your time joining us here. I kind of want to definitely gonna play more with AppSync, maybe play around with the TypeScript portion of it. And I know Amplify does abstract a lot of this and makes it easy to consume and build these APIs. So definitely something to play around with. I know we do in our kind of the first stream we did, what was it, like a couple months ago, where it didn't end up recording. It was a mess.
Yeah.
So we don't have a recording from that one, but we played around with Gen 2 Amplify.
Yeah.
Definitely something I want to play around with more and try the GraphBolt tool from Benoit. So definitely going to keep that in mind.
Yeah. Super exciting stuff.
Cool. So a few things just to line up next week. So we have the one and only Michael, again, Michael Liendo on Tuesday. We had to reschedule this one, but it's where he's going to talk to us how he's asserting HOA dominance with serverless.
Yeah, just to give you some context on that, I recently bought a house in a neighborhood, and they do community events, right? and some of them are kind of janky. Some of them have poor security practice. And I came in and was like, we could totally make this better. So I did the obvious thing when you move into a suburban neighborhood. I set up an AWS account for them and and a React website. And I was like, I'm totally gonna do all of these social events that we typically have going on, but make them secure and online payments, and make sure that you don't have to, like, Nancy doesn't have to sign a check to give, to somebody down the street to pay her dues. We can up it a little bit when we incorporate some of these cool serverless tools that we have.
Nice. I'm excited about that one. And then we have on Thursday another one near and dear to your heart, Michael. But we have Ro. He's going to be talking about building full stack applications with Amplify, and Bedrock. So
that's my guy.
It's an exciting week, and then we'll see what I cook up for Friday for the Friday stream. So hoping to have something interesting for everybody.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for having me. This has been a blast.
No, thanks. And you offered this on the last stream. It's like, dude, I'm here. And I saw the stress and the messaging. It's like, you're doing it wrong. So definitely helpful. Yeah, we made it. Appreciate your help. Beautiful. Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna take it off the screen because it's. But cool. Let's wrap it up, and I'm gonna play us out. I know this is something Alan likes to do, so I'll keep doing it. But I'll play out our little video. I'm very proud of that image of Michael peeking from the tunnels, and then I'm glad you noticed your blonde Michael in the little mirror and the little
that was awesome.
picture in the.
That was awesome.
Cool. Well, appreciate it, Michael. We'll keep on talking.
Awesome.
Andre's band, they had a goal, building an app to make pizzas roll. Ninja Turtle Pizza API, but AWS.C made them cry. They tried and they tried, but couldn't make it stick. Stuck in a loop, it was making them sick. And they thought there must be a trick to get GraphQL up and quick. Michael showed up, a coding superstar. Teacher traced the way to set the bar.